medium-term budget policy statement unveiled earlier, and the minister there pointed out that softer than expected growth will probably take 5 billion rand off his fiscal take for this year. Now, despite his upward revision of some of the budget deficits over the coming years, he says he's not tapping the debt market for more funding. For some analysis on this speech, we welcome Azar Jamin, Chief Economist at Econometrics, and Sean Latter. He's from Questor Wealth, and he's a financial advisor there. Welcome, gentlemen. Good to have you here.
Thank you.
Azar, you're grinning. So did you like the speech? We've all said all day that there was nothing new in there, but yet if you think of the political stance and the encouragement, this political motivational speech we had, that was good news.
Yes, it was good news. I didn't expect anything different. Probably the biggest surprise, and something that I welcome a lot, was that he kept referring to the National Development Plan. Because if there is something that can pull this country right in the longer term, it's the proper implementation of a very well thought out and holistic document that actually goes to the heart of many of South Africa's economic and social problems.
Yes.
And he kept referring to it. Whether that was mere lip service remains to be seen, and that's what we've got to wait and see.
Sean, you, as a financial planner, you work directly with investors, and I'm sure there's a great deal of fear, and it's a case of regularly assuring investors that things will work out in the long term. And does this help you in your message?
Look, I think one of the things that Praveen put forward was he was very positive and very confident in where things were going. I'm not sure all of us can share that confidence, but certainly I think there are a couple of things in there that we can take to heart and say, well, if he's hopeful about it, then hopefully we can hang on to that a little bit. Perhaps scratching below the surface, I think that confidence could be challenged in some way. I know he said that we're definitely not terminal. And he said that is a good thing, but I don't think anyone's said we're terminal, but we've still got a very long grind ahead of us, and it's not going to be pretty. It's probably going to be brutal.
And we also joined from Cape Town by Nick Borain. He's a political analyst at Société Générale KD Securities. Nick, your views on that? And I think the one thing we feel, the minister says all the right things. Ultimately, it comes down to the enforceability of his ideas, and so far we haven't seen too much of that.
Yeah, look, he does say in fact, he did say all the right things. It was at a kind of the level of public relations exercise, it was excellent. He was able to portray the Treasury as this long, unbroken line of excellence within government. And I think he really has picked up where Trevor Manuel left off, and he's doing an excellent job. He was able to reassure all the myriad constituencies that he's speaking to when he does the national budget. Obviously, the ANC itself, his cabinet colleagues, the ANC's allies in the ruling alliance, and then most importantly, of course, the people who lend the South African government money. And they're the ones that are going to be picking through the numbers. For the company that I would consult to, which is, by the way, BNP Paribas KD Security, would be, I think our base case was we were worried that this government is locked into an increasing fiscal commitment to particularly public sector wages and to social grants. Those are key political constituencies that, in my view, and this is the personal view, that the ANC is addicted to in some way, because it would lose the support of that constituency if it wasn't able to constantly increase there. Now, he played it very carefully, but he did make the point that they went way above what they planned for this year in public sector wages. And he said it's going to come out of contingent liabilities, which in his way of, I think, admonishing government of having given in to Cosatu's demands, if you like. And I think everyone accepts that social grants will have to continue increasing.
They say this is not an austerity kind of framework. On the one hand, we see talk of savings of 40 billion rand. On the other, we see that fiscal deficit is going to get carried out longer. How do you see it as well?
It's neither here nor there. You may see it as being an austerity budget if you're a public servant, and this is where I've got my very
getting
big
7%
question.
rather than 5%.
Yes, but it's not going to increase anymore over the next few years. Whereas in the past 3 years, it was real fun time. And there was a wonderful chart that the National Treasury put in there showing the contributions of different areas of government spending to their expenditure over the last 3 years. And you saw public sector remuneration way ahead of any other form of government, any other component of government spending. And then over the next 3 years, public remuneration the lowest by far. Now, is that realistic?
Mark, do you have a question? Because my feeling was that the theme of this budget was about sustainability and proving a point, perhaps to politicians who don't want to toe the line, and also to the ratings agencies.
Yeah, I'm not sure you want to sustain something that's unsustainable. And, you know, I think some recognition that South Africa is a poor country, but has public spending levels that are significantly higher than is seen in East Asia, for instance, for countries at a similar level of development. We've got a serious problem on our hands, and what was palpably lacking is the clear lack of understanding as to the wealth creation process. So from a business point of view, nothing changes. You've got a sliver of people that contribute to the wealth creation process, and a welfare state that makes the ex-Soviet Union seem like a capitalist paradise.
On the tax side, jumping completely, we knew that this was not going to be the forum to make any changes there. What's your feeling? Is there an inkling of, given the pressures that there might be politically, socially, etc., to up tax rates or introduce new taxes, Sean?
Look, I think there were a couple of murmurings of that potentially happening. I don't think we had anything definitive in the budget speech. I think for me what's going to be intriguing coming out of this is that he's basically said, look, we're not going to be giving you any more money, and you need to start working with what you've got. And Trevor Manuel for many years has said, you know, money's not the problem, implementation is. And are we now getting to the point where, you know, rubber's going to hit the road and they're going to have to try and prove to us? So one of two things are going to happen. Either they're going to achieve that and we're going to be pleasantly surprised, which I'm sure is what Praveen's hoping for, or we're going to have you know, worse delivery problems. So it remains to be seen, and I think that for me is a big question mark.